In this video, we're going to talk about the seating position. This is the foundation of our driving skills because it's the seating position from which we receive all of the input from the vehicle, and it's the seating position from which we provide all of the inputs to the vehicle. So it's really the communication between car and driver. So we're going to go over some of the fundamentals right now, and the important thing to remember is the seating position that you use on the street should also be the seating position that you use on the track. You want to make sure that there's a seamless transition between street and track that doesn't require a lot of adaptation, because that's going to change the way that we drive. And if we're practicing every day on the street, we want to transition that onto the track exactly as we do on the street. So the first thing we want to do is we want to move the seat forward until we have our left foot on the rest pedal. We also want to move this seat all the way down to the bottom position. This gives us the lowest possible center of gravity, which improves the performance of the vehicle. It also positions our core as close as possible to the center of roll of the vehicle and gives us the best feeling for what the vehicle is doing. Now, one other important consideration is that we have good line of sight over the hood of the car, over the steering wheel, over the dash, and we have good visibility of everything. So once we've moved the seat all the way to the bottom, we want to move the steering wheel. If you have a telescoping steering wheel, you want to move it all the way towards you. So this is where we start from. And we just want to have a good general view of the gauges for right now. We'll adjust that later. All right, so if I have to, I can move the seat up from this position. The other thing to keep in mind is if your seat has a leg support, you can just adjust the front of the seat up. You want to make sure that you have a good 60-degree angle in your leg, and that will allow us to press on the brake pedal, press on the gas, without overextending our legs. We want to make sure that there's a slight bend every time that we're using the pedals. And also, if you have a manual transmission, you want to make sure you can depress the clutch all the way to the floor. And so adjust the seat forward and back to accommodate. The next thing we want to do is we want to bring the seat back vertical. Now, I would say bring it as vertical as you can. Give it a try. It's going to be uncomfortable at first. You're going to need to adapt, to adjust. But the more vertical you are, the less you're relying on your core strength to keep you up and to keep you in control of the vehicle. We want a nice, straight, as vertical as possible back, and we can test that by placing our wrist over the steering wheel. Now, the nice thing about this is I can feel how much separation there is between my shoulder and the seat. Right now there's a slight separation, but it's really not that bad. I can touch the back of the seat just by kind of rocking back and forth. I don't want to be so close to the wheel that I'm having difficulty getting my arms past my body, but I don't want to be so far away that I can't hang on to the wheel as I'm going through corners with high G loads. So again, just rest your hand over the steering wheel, and that's a very good position to start from. Now that we've got the seat back upright as far as possible and with some degree of comfort, we've got the seat base exactly where we want it. Now we're going to adjust the wheel, and I want to make sure that I can see the gauges. That's the most important thing. If it's too low, I'm going to lose the top numbers on the gauges. If it's too high, it kind of feels like I'm driving a bus. The wheel is more horizontal than I want it to be. So just a nice location somewhere in between, with the center of the wheel kind of pointing at the top of my chest. And that gives me a good location across the spokes in line with my shoulders. And when I've got it in the position right here, the beauty of it is I can move my hands all the way around the wheel without ever separating my shoulders from the seat. The other important thing when you've got a manual transmission, you want to make sure that you're close enough that you can reach each of the gears without having to pull yourself up. So the beauty of the seating position is that we have our support. The seat is actually supporting us. We're not engaging our core in order to maintain our position in reference to the wheel, in reference to the pedals. The seat is doing all the support for us. With our leg against the rest pedal, I can actually press against it. I can push my hips into the seat, and this provides more support in the seat. If I'm just kind of flopping around, then I'm hanging onto the wheel. I'll give you an idea of what that looks like. If the seat back is too reclined, if I'm too far away from the from the pedals, I need to straighten my leg in order to support myself. And now I'm too far away from the wheel, so my hands, they actually disengage from the wheel. And what will tend to happen is I'll drive the car with the underside of the wheel as opposed to using my full range of motion. So we'll bring it back, and I'll engage my leg against the rest pedal. I'll bring my seat back more vertical. I'll check again. And now you can see the beauty of having that full range of motion. Now the seating position is all about compromise. Maybe you don't have as much range of motion as I have in this electric seat on this Audi A4. Maybe you don't have as much range of motion on the steering wheel, so it's going to be a matter of compromise. You may have to adjust the seating position in order to be able to see the gauges. You may have to adjust the height in order to maintain that nice bend in your legs, and also make sure that you have good support on your thighs. So keep that in mind when you're adjusting. And again, as I mentioned, you want to make sure that the seating position in your street car is similar to your seating position in your race car, if that's the case that you are a racer. I hope that you guys will all take the opportunity to take your car on the track someday. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. And just remember, these are the skills that you're gonna need when you're out there on the street for survival or on the track, and they'll make you a better, safer driver, and your passengers will be more comfortable as well. So thanks for checking out the video, and the next video I'm going to talk about is the steering techniques, the tools that we can use to have absolute control of the vehicle, so that the vehicle is really an extension of our legs, our hands, and our mind, because that's really what this is all about, having a very clear connection and communication with the vehicle. So I look forward to sharing that with you.